Good morning. Hi everybody. Welcome back to the Shawl Knitter Unplugged. I'm sure this is going to be a very, very echoey episode as I'm still really battling to try and find the right place to do my podcasts. I was up on the rooftop of my new abode this morning and so beautiful up there. In the treetops, I was ready to do my podcast, and it's Sunday. I'm in India. I'm in Tamil Nadu in South India, very well on the borders of Oroville. So I'm in Oroville, and the building behind us, which is being built. I was quite sure that on a Sunday nobody would be doing any building, but I was wrong. I just set up and there was a lovely breeze, and I was going to show you all the coconut palms and the mango trees and the cashew nut forests, and whoop, up popped the boulders with all their metal rods, and that was the end of that. So I'll record this and see how the echo is. I have moved to a lovely place actually. Sort of in the middle of nowhere, more or less for now, although it will soon be a housing estate. It's currently farmland where people have bought plots and houses are being built. This is the only building that is already completed, and it consists of 4 apartments. It's really lovely building, modern building. And I have found it and managed to escape the unceasing noise of the village that I was living in. There it was day and night, dogs barking, dogs wailing, lots of hooting, lots of building, just general life going on in India, which is very noisy. And I did do one little episode there which people seemed to like the noise. Well, they said it gave them a feel, or you said it gave you a feel of India. Well, it stressed me out. It really did. I was not able to maintain it, and I'm a very light sleeper, so I couldn't sleep, and I was really feeling very distressed actually. I was thinking, what am I doing here? Have I made a mistake by coming to the south of India? Should I go back? Should I do this? And it was full moon. It was Virgo full moon, which is quite intense. And so I decided to do something about it. And woke up one morning, and not in a very good frame of mind, and got on my little rickety bicycle that I had at that stage and set out to find a place. So luckily, through asking around and being connected through some lovely friends, I found this place. So it's a 1-bedroom apartment. It's brand new. I'm the first person to be living in it. It doesn't have much furniture. So that's fine, I don't mind that, but this room that I'm in is sort of like a lounge, dining room, kitchen all in one. So it's a very big room, and it doesn't have much soft furnishings in it, so therefore it's probably quite echoey. So I'm sitting on a mattress on the floor, and there's this lovely big windowsill behind me here, which is very wide, and I do usually put the mattress up there, and then I am eye to eye with this lovely coconut palm tree with this big coconut that I showed in the beginning of the podcast, that I can just reach out and touch. But it would be pointless for me to try and take it off. First of all, you need a machete to cut it off, and then you need a machete to open it up and get the gorgeous juice. So that's much easier just to get on my scooter, which I now have a scooter, which is really fantastic. A little bit nerve-wracking, there's lots of traffic, the roads are very bumpy, and you have to hoot, you have to learn to hoot all the time. So I'm learning to hoot every time I go around a corner. It's beep beep. If I come up behind somebody, it's beep beep. If they come up behind me, it's beep beep. So we all know where we are, basically. I think that's the idea. Vaguely irritating, the sound, but you know, when you're a driver, you have to comply with the rules and you have to let people know where you are, because the roads are very narrow and there are tractors and trucks and cows and dogs and goats and people, and life happens on the streets. So yeah, I have a scooter. So yes, where I'm staying is a little bit out of the village. Thankfully, it's about 4 kilometers. So my bicycle that I was hiring, which was really quite a cronk, but it did have a basket. I kept on saying to myself, it's got a basket, I can put my groceries in it, it's fine. But yes, it was fine where I lived to go and do my shopping at the grocery store, at the lovely supermarket called Fresh Farms, which has lots of organic products and really great shop. But now I need more, and actually I do want to get around. So I have hired a scooter, and I have ridden a scooter before. I have owned a scooter and it's fine. One does feel a little bit vulnerable out there, but you just have to go slow. And the bumpy roads are a bit of a challenge because scooter wheels are quite small. Anyway, all this to say that I am Sitagiri, and I am at the moment in India, where I used to be for 12 years living in the north of India. And then COVID happened and I was at home in South Africa, and I ended up spending almost exactly 3 years in South Africa, just dying to come back to India. And then eventually I kind of really settled into my life there on the coast. It was really beautiful, but I take tours in India, and I needed to come back. So I took a tour for 2 weeks in the north. It's a tour, I've been taking it for about 8 years now, and so I know it very well. It's in Rajasthan, Jaipur, Jodhpur, then up to the Ganges, Rishikesh, and then up through the mountains to where I lived for the last 3 years that I was living in Uttarakhand, a place called Kasar Devi, which is just gorgeous. It's there's a village that's got 2 shops, but I lived on a farm and I could see the beautiful Himalayas constantly. So we took the tour, and then I decided that I was on the hunt for some very specialized yarn. So this is a knitting podcast, but it's also a podcast about me and what I do. So I found this Eri Silk, which is organic raw silk yarn, on Instagram, and it came from India. And I thought, wow, maybe that's a plan. I can go to India, do my tour, and then I'm going to go and get this yarn. So that's what I've come to do. And the yarn, the lady that I deal with, who lives in Bangalore, is not too far from Oroville. Now, Oroville is a community that was set up many, many years ago. I think they just had their 50th anniversary, actually, while I was here. Just last week, I think they had a big celebration for their 50th anniversary, and it's a very beautiful community project to have a city based on communal philosophy, sharing, supportive, spiritual community. And it's still very much under development, but as you can imagine, in 50 years a lot has happened, and it's very big and it's very interesting. But just sort of living here and being here is just not really enough to get to know exactly what's going on. So I have signed up to do this induction workshop this week coming up. 5 full days of being taken around to all the different projects. They have some incredible farms where they have many different things that they do on the farms. They have a goat farm which produces goat milk, which makes goat's cheese. They have cows, they make dairy products. They have lots of cashew nut farms, some avocado, mango farms, all sorts of different farming activities. They also have projects which are craft-based, all different woodworking, textile, printing, natural dyeing, textile making, all sorts of different crafts which are taught and shared and then sold, sometimes even imported, but there are beautiful shops as well where people sell the crafts. So I was quite interested in perhaps getting involved in one of these ventures. So I haven't actually had time yet to connect with the people. I tried and then I had to move. I was not in the space actually to be connecting and sharing anything in the past couple of weeks. But now that I'm more settled, and I will do my induction course this week, and then I will start to feel my way out into the voluntary world. So I'm volunteering. I will be volunteering knitting skills, designing skills. So I have had some interest. It's just about making the connections. And in fact today I have 2 lovely young ladies coming to have a little sit and knit with me. Actually they crochet, and it's a French woman and a Tamil Indian lady. They're very young, they're both just out of school, 19, 20 years old, and they're very keen to craft. So we met, and they are learning, teaching themselves crochet. So I said, well, come, let's hang out, you know, let's sit and do our thing together. I'm not the best crocheter, but I can crochet. So they're also very keen to learn to knit. So this afternoon they're coming along, and we're going to have a little sit and knit together, which I think will be great fun. And I've got plenty of space for that. And yes, people have asked me if I would give knitting lessons, and I think that could be part of what I would like to do. So that is kind of my story for at the moment. So I'm here, and yes, it's peaceful. There is building going on a property very nearby, and it would appear they don't stop on a Sunday. So the rooftop is not available for me on a Sunday, and so I have a lot of space. So what have I been doing since I podcasted the last time? I think I did actually show you the cotton, the silk, the Eri Silk. But I've made some progress. I'm knitting this very long scarf. It's not really a shawl, although mine is going to be bigger than the pattern because they call for fingering weight, and this is more a DK weight. And I am using a 4.5mm needle. So it has this lovely butterfly cable, and it's called Butterflies Flying Out of My Stash Box, which I think is quite a lovely name. And it is by Eri, and it's Eri Silk, so I just thought that was quite coincidental. I'm just over halfway. It's very lovely and, you know, very light, slightly crunchy, and as you can see, I'm sure it's kind of quite slubby, but it really gives that raw silk feeling. So I have been knitting on that, and then I decided to do some dyeing to see how it took, because I brought all my dyes with me and my dye pots, and so I thought let me have a try and see how it takes. So it's very interesting. I thought it would really suck in the dye very fast. It didn't really, but it was sort of normal. But it does consist of not just thin strands of the silk. It seems to have sort of pieces of the cocoon, more or less, as the slubs in it. So I don't know if you can actually see. Let me point out something like that. Let's see if I can get it. But you can see it's very rustic. So this is the antique gold, is the one color that I did, which I really like. And then I did another color that I called Persian Mauve. So I'm going for some really sort of earthy, neutral tones. It has a bit of pink in it, some of it's a little bit lighter. But, you know, I just thought the nature of the actual yarn lends itself to some very earthy colors. So these are the two colors I've dyed so far. I don't think I will be dyeing a lot of this yarn. It is really lovely in its natural cream. So I am taking orders for it. I have already started taking orders for it, and it will be delivered in this lovely cream, natural cream color. Here it is in the ball that I balled it up. I will use more than 100 grams. There was an option to make this smaller, but I thought, you know, why? I want to make it big as it can be. So I will have to break into a second 100 gram skein of it. So you can see it's a very, very loose gauge, and I really like that. I'm looking forward to finishing it, I must say. So that is coming along very nicely. And then I got a different type of silk, which I also showed you, which is also the Eri Silk, but it is actually fingering weight. No, sorry, it's a silk. It's between. It's a very, very light fingering. Very light fingering, I would say. So these are the colors that I'm working with at the moment. There's one more color hiding underneath everything here that I'm not showing you. Let me get it. Yeah. So this is the combination that I'm using. Totally my colors. I'm just in love with orange and brown, and this is all working out very nicely. And so I'm knitting it held double, and this is Striation Shawl, which is, I've changed it a bit, I've modified it, I've put some holes. It's basically sort of a long point shape. I'm now in the straight section, and then it goes to narrow again. But I've added this bit of lacy bits of yarn over just for some interest with the silk, and I'm holding the silk double, so it's really soft. This is very, very soft, and I'm looking forward to seeing it. I'm sort of marling it. So I started off with the brown and the light orange, and then I mixed the dark orange with the light orange, as you can see the change, and then I've gone straight on to the dark orange, and now I've gone back on to the light orange, and so I'll just be playing around. I don't really have any format, I'm just doing it as it comes along, as I feel like changing. That's what I'm doing. So I showed you in the beginning of the video this lovely stand, which I'll just swing the camera around. That happens to be here in this very large room, and it's proved to be a very nice display cabinet for my shawls that I have brought with. And yeah, if I swing it around, I've I've got some of my yarns, and that's more of the silk. And yeah, so I'm just, there's my coconut. Can you see my coconut? There it is. So at the moment it's experimenting with the silk. I am getting another really beautiful silk, a mulberry silk, which I do have samples of, and I can actually show you them. Why not? Let's grab them, seeing as they're right here. I got some dyed samples of this mulberry silk. Now, mulberry silk is very different to the Eri Silk. It's very, very silky, very soft, and it's a singles. So let's get my face out the way and see if I can show you. So this is actually the DK weight, although I prefer the fingering weight. So it's a very soft, extremely soft and silky mulberry silk. So I'm waiting for the main samples to arrive of that, and then I'm going to dye some up and knit something with that and put that out as well. So yeah, I think that is just about all I have to tell you about today down here in the south of India. The weather is quite warm. It's around about 30 degrees, but indoors there's fans in every room, and it's really still lovely and cool in the morning and in the evening, and up on the rooftop there's always a lovely breeze, so if you're in the shade it's very nice to be there. This is one of the dresses that I had made out of the gorgeous block print from Jaipur in Rajasthan. Very thin light cotton, and I really enjoy wearing it. It's so comfortable. It's just about all one needs to wear is just one light layer of cotton, and one can feel comfortable. So that is my story today. What have I been doing? I've been getting used to riding around on my scooter, and I have not been to the beach for quite a few days, but I'll wait until after the weekend anyway, because the weekend is just full of people on the beach, and I am missing that. I'm dying to go for a swim in the ocean, and now I've got the scooter. It'll just take me 5 minutes to scoot off down there, and yeah, that's what I'll be doing. And I will also be just reminding you about the 50 Fabulous Knit-a-thon in April, which is next month. It's only on the 22nd, so there's still quite a lot of time. I'm still making 100% certain of what time it is. I think for me it's going to be around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, which I'll let you know for sure. I'll let you know for sure. But I think I did put the 50 Fabulous website below the last episode, and you can go and look there and just search for the knit-a-thon, and you'll see what time I'm up there. She will have it on. Last time I did the live, I wasn't happy with the live, so I'm going to pre-record. Hopefully I'll be able to do it on the rooftop and show you a bit of the forest around me, and just listen to some of the birds and see how that's going. So I would also like in my next video to share a bit of cooking with you perhaps. You know, I love eating Indian food, and I've been cooking it all my life basically. So I'll think of something delicious and simple to share with you, and we can have a little cook. Maybe I can do that for the knit-a-thon. That's a great thing to pre-record. I just had that idea. So let me think on what to do. Okay, so thank you very much. I hope it's not too echoey, but at least it's not too noisy with all the other sounds that are normally beeping and booping and dogs barking and all sorts of things happening. So enjoy the rest of your weekend if you're watching this today, and happy crafting, and I look forward to seeing you again, and thank you so much for coming to watch, and take care.